Hi, my name is Amy and welcome to class number 4 in this beginner series. So today we're going to start in a simple cross-legged position, and I just want you to notice your breath here for a moment. Arrive on your mat. Just notice. Take some nice inhales and exhales in through your nose, out through your nose, or through your mouth. I'd like to start today's class with a quote from Jason Crandall, one of my favorite yoga teachers. The quote is, "Yoga is the perfect opportunity to be curious about who you are." So think about that throughout today's class. And again, notice your body. Back off if you need to in any poses. Otherwise, let's dive right in. So let's start with a nice tricep stretch from our seated position. So we're going to take our right arm straight up toward the sky, bend it back behind your head, take your left hand over to your elbow and pull that in a little bit. So you get a nice stretch in your tricep all along here. Couple nice deep breaths in and out through your nose here. Exhale, release that. Now the other arm. So take your left arm up overhead, bend your left arm behind your back, your head, excuse me. Take your right hand to your left elbow and pull that in slightly. Feel that nice tricep stretch. A couple of nice deep breaths in and out through the nose here. And release that. And from here, we're going to come right into tabletop. Remember, your knees will be underneath of your hips and your wrists will be underneath of your shoulders. And we're going to do a couple of cat-cow, or a few rounds of cat-cow here. So on the inhale, arch your lower back, lift your chin. On the exhale, round your back, tuck your chin. Don't really dome in the back, pulling the navel in. Inhale, arch your lower back, look up. Exhale and round. Twice more. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, round your back. Once more. Inhale, arch your lower back, looking up, and exhale, round in. From here, return to neutral spine, so flat back or flattish. And now we're going to do what's called balancing table, but we're going to do one limb at a time. So we're going to take our left arm and stretch it straight out in front of us, really pulling that navel in and trying to maintain a nice flat back as best as possible. Exhale, lower that arm down, and now take your right arm out in front of you. Straight out in front of you. Again, pulling that navel in, maintaining your balance. Exhale, lower that arm. Now, our left leg. So lift the left leg, again, trying to maintain that flat back without jumping. Stretch that leg out behind you. Pulling the navel in. Exhale, lower that leg. Now your right leg out behind you. Again, maintaining that flat back, pulling the navel in, maintaining your balance. And exhale, lower that leg. Now, for those of you who feel ready to move on to the next phase of this, you can, or you can repeat what we just did with just one arm out and the other arm out. But for some of us, we're going to move on to the next phase, which is left arm will be out, and now your opposite leg, your right leg, will go back. This is obviously much more challenging. You really have to balance, keeping that navel pulled in. And now exhale, lower both limbs down. And let's go to the other side. Right arm out in front of you, left leg straight back. Really pull that navel in, trying to maintain that flat back, keeping your balance, try not to fall over, and exhale, lower both limbs. And for those of you who are doing just the arms, we're going to do just the legs, along with the calf stretch. So we're going to take the left leg or right leg straight back, and now lower your toes to the ground and stretch back through that calf. So take your heel back toward the back of your room. Your toes will be on the ground. Really stretch back through that calf. Bring the right leg back, left leg out behind you. Stretch it, and now lower the toes to the ground. Heel toward the back of the room. Stretch through that calf. Nice. Exhale Come back to all fours. And from here, we're going to make sure our palms are on the floor nice and strongly. And we're going to tuck the back toes and come up and lifting our hips into downward facing dog. So here you can pedal out your feet if you need to, your legs. Bringing the hips up toward the sky. A nice couple of deep breaths here, in and out. Straight legs if possible, otherwise bent legs are just fine. And now we're going to walk forward and inhale, rising up, reaching for the sky. Exhale, arms down to your sides into mountain pose. All right, from here, you might need your blocks, so have those ready at the top of your mat. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, we're going to fold forward, hinging at our hips, using the blocks if we need to. Lowering the head, letting it dangle. Inhale, halfway lift. Flat back, straight legs if possible, otherwise keep a bend in them. Exhale, fold in. Once more, inhale, halfway up, flat back. And from here, we're going to exhale. We're going to take our right leg straight back on the mat, bending our front knee and lowering our right knee to the ground. That's where you may need the blocks. So you're going to have your front knee is bent, your left knee will be bent, and your back leg will be down. The knee is on the ground. Just inhale and look up and forward. And on exhale, we're going to come into what's called a runner's lunge. So you're going to switch back onto with your hips, taking them straight back. Now your left leg is straight. And I'll move the block so you can see what's happening here. And you're going to flex that left front foot. So your hips will be squared to the front of the room still. And you can look up, and if you're able, you can fold over that front leg, that left leg. Try to keep a micro bend in this knee. You don't want to over stretch. You don't want to have it too straight. You want to keep that knee somewhat bent a little bit. Okay, so we're just going to move between those two poses for a couple of rounds. So we're going to inhale, rebend the front knee, looking up. Nice stretch there. Exhale into your runner's lunge. Straighten your left leg, bending over that left leg. You can stay upright also. Inhale. Rebend your front leg, and then exhale back into your runner's lunge. Runner's stretch, I should say. Inhale. Come back into that low lunge. Left leg is bent. And now step forward and fold in. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, flat back, lift halfway up. Exhale, and fold in. Inhale once more, flat back. And now you're going to exhale your left foot back. Left knee down to the ground. Right leg will be bent. And now you're in your low lunge on this side with your right leg forward. And now we're going to shift our hips back, straightening the right leg and flexing that right foot. And this is a runner's lunge. So now we're going to flow between those poses on this side. So inhale into your low lunge, looking up, right knee bent. Exhale, straighten that right leg, flexing that right foot. Inhale, rebend that front leg, right leg, looking up. Exhale, straighten your right leg, hip square to the front, front foot flexed. Once more into our low lunge. Inhale. And now exhale, step forward and forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Fold forward. Exhale. And inhale, come all the way up, reaching toward the sky, touching the sky, lowering your arms to your sides. Now I'm going to move the blocks out of the way for for me. And from here, we're going to do what we did in video 3. Again, we're going to do warrior 2, reverse warrior, and side angle. So if you remember those, if not, don't worry, we'll go through them again. So from mountain pose, stand nice and tall, feeling great here in your warrior. And from there, I want you to step back into warrior 2. So take your right leg back and open out to the side. And we got some sun going on here now, so I'm going to just move my mat just a little bit. I have a limited amount of time in the morning that I can film before the sun gets me, so I apologize in advance for that. All right, so heel or arch alignment. So you're going to have your left heel is in line with your right arch, your back foot. Nice and strong and steady here. Arms out to the sides, gazing over your left hand. Nice bend in that left knee. And from here, we're just going to go through this slowly. We're going to take that left hand, flip it up. Bring your right arm down the back of your leg. And on an exhale, you're going to do a nice, bring that left arm up and overhead as much as you can. You may be here. You don't have to go near as deep. Go what feels comfortable for you, but you're still getting a nice stretch here. So don't feel that you need to come way down. You can be right here for a reverse warrior. This is reverse warrior. Looking up at the sky. And we're going to exhale. Come back into warrior 2. And then we're going to inhale and come forward into side angle. So taking your left forearm onto your left knee, or actually your thigh. Right arm will go up overhead, stretching nice and long all through this side now, keeping this back leg nice and grounded and stable. And look up underneath of your left arm, your right arm, excuse me. Breathe here. And inhale, come back up to warrior 2, keeping that front knee bent. All right. Straighten that front leg for just a minute to kind of give it a moment, because we're going to flow between those 3 poses along with the breath. So we're going to try to link the breath with those poses. All right, so here we go. I just need you to take a moment, nice straight legs, reset, because I know that leg can get a little tired. Rebend that front leg. You're into warrior 2. So left leg is bent, right leg is straight back. Heel to arch alignment. Arms are out straight in front of you. Take a nice inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to reverse the warrior. So bring that right arm back. Left arm up overhead. Take a nice deep breath in here. Exhale back into warrior 2. And on the inhale, come forward into side angle. Placing that left arm on your thigh and your right arm goes up overhead. Nice deep breath in here. Inhale here. Exhale. Inhale back to warrior 2. Once more. Inhale. Exhale into reverse warrior. Inhale to warrior 2. Exhale to side angle. Inhale back to warrior 2. Straighten that front leg and step forward into mountain pose. Nicely done. All right, from here we're going to do this the other side. So I just need you to, actually before we do that, I want to do we'll do a little forward bend just to kind of help keep everything nice and open. So let's inhale up. Arms up overhead. Exhale, hinge at your hips. Fold forward, fold in. Let your head dangle. Really let that go. Inhale on a nice halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Let that head dangle. Knees can be bent. You can use blocks here as always. Inhale, come all the way back up. Lift, raising the arms up overhead and down the center line. Back to mountain pose. All right, let's do that same series now on the other side. So we're going to step our left leg back into warrior two. So open up nice and long here. Heel to arch alignment. Right heel intersects your left arch. Arms out to your sides. Gazing out over that right hand. Right knee is nice and bent. And from here, take a nice inhale. Exhale. On your inhale, we're going to reverse the warrior. So bring that left arm back behind you. Right arm up overhead, keeping the front knee bent. Nice inhale here and exhale. On an inhale, come back to warrior two. Take a deep breath in. And on the exhale, bring your right elbow, forearm to your right thigh. Left arm up and overhead. Looking up underneath of that left arm. Nice deep breath in and out here. On an inhale, let's come back up to warrior two. For a moment, just straighten that front leg. Just kind of let that go for a minute, because we're going to flow between those three poses on this side. All right, so on the inhale, let's come into warrior two. Exhale. Inhale. And now exhale back into reverse warrior. Take an inhale with the right arm up overhead. Exhale back into warrior two. Inhale. And now exhale, come into your side angle. Right forearm on your right leg. Left arm up overhead. Take a nice deep inhale. Stay for the exhale. Inhale back to warrior two. Excuse me. Exhale into reverse warrior. Right arm up overhead. Inhale, warrior two. Exhale, side angle. Left arm up overhead. Nice straight line with your body from hand to foot. And come back into warrior two. Exhale. Step forward into mountain pose. And from here, we're going to reach up toward the sky. Reach, reach, reach. Exhale. Let it go. Fold forward. And then we're going to inhale. Halfway lift. And from here, we're going to exhale. Fold in once more. Inhale. Halfway lift. And now we're going to place our palms on the ground and step back into a nice downward facing dog. I'll leave my papers there. A lot of wind here today. All right, take some nice cleansing deep breaths here. Again, you can have bent knees if you need to. From here, we're going to shift, rock forward into plank. You can also be in modified plank. So from plank, we're going to lower down to the ground, keeping your elbows in towards your body. Exhale, lower to the ground. And now inhale and rise up into cobra. Any amount for you, coming out of your hips, keeping your shoulders back down on the back. And you can be lower, and you can also have your hands out to here. Whatever feels best on the back. So don't overdo this. Come to where you feel comfortable. And from here, we're going to sit back onto our knees, and we're going to come into a nice little child's pose for a moment. So this can be a wide-legged one, or it can be knees together. Stretch your arms out on the mat in front of you. Forehead to the ground or to a block. You can have a blanket underneath of your seat here. If your seat doesn't come to your heels, your big toes should be touching. And take 3 nice deep breaths here, in and out, at your own pace. One more nice inhale. And exhale. From here, we're going to come back up. And now we're going to do a different balancing pose today. And this is called Warrior 3. So as a quick review, we've done Warrior 1, which is hips square to the front of the room, arms up. Warrior 2 is where we have the heel to arch alignment, and we're open up to the side. Here's Warrior 2. Warrior 3 is a balancing pose, and it can be challenging for a lot of people, myself included. Blocks are your friends. The wall will also be your friend if you need it. So I'll show you a couple different variations. But with Warrior 3, what we're going for, I'll show you what the pose looks like, and then I'm going to show you the variations. So the pose is standing on one leg, lifting the other leg, and coming into this balance so that you're like almost like a T with your body and your leg. Now, before you panic and think there's not a chance that's ever going to happen, don't worry. We have ways to modify this and make this much more accessible until you're steady in your balance. So I'm going to show you the blocks first. So Warrior 3, I'm going to go this way because the sun keeps coming back out. So you could start right here, just as simple as this, with a nice halfway lift. And having the block in front of you, probably at this time only need one, but you can use both if you'd like to. Actually, maybe both would be best. Placing your palms on the block, you're going to simply, it may not be as simple, let's start with our left leg. So keeping your right leg nice and straight and stable, that's your base. Lift that left leg up any amount. So it could be here, and it might be straight. Lift it out behind you and stay there. This is a great balancing pose. It's very strengthening. If you feel steady, maybe lift one hand off of the block. If you feel even more steady, maybe you try to lift both hands off the block. You may find that to be harder to do. So if you need to keep your hands on the blocks, please do. If you decide that you want to try and take your hands off the blocks, I suggest bending this right knee a little bit, bringing your hands up maybe to your chest, and then re-straightening that leg. Your blocks will still be here, so you'll at least have a way to, you're trying to keep those hips squared to the ground. Trying is the key word. So that is one option. So that is on that side with the blocks. All right, we'll do the other side. The other option you could also do would be to actually use the wall for your leg that's going back. So you'd have to adjust where you're going to be at. But possibly, and I'm not square to the wall, of course, this could also help you get into that shape. So this is another option. And then you could, again, bend that left knee a little bit and try to come into that. And this is one of those you have to kind of play around with and see what's going to work best for you. I personally, for me, it felt like the blocks were a little easier to start with. So let's try that again. So we're going to come into our halfway lift, and we're going to try doing the other side. I know you may have just watched me on that one, and that is perfectly fine. We're going to do both sides. So from here, blocks underneath of your hands if you need them. And we're going to just lift that right leg back behind us, any amount. And this is a nice, strong, strengthening and balancing pose in and of itself. So stay here if you need to. Breathing, of course. And now exhale, lower that leg. And let's try the left. Lifting that left leg up. Pulling the navel in, breathing in and out through your nose. And now let's lower that leg down. And we're going to go through this pose a few more times in more classes to come, because I think this is a challenging pose, and it's a good one to really learn. If you would like to try it without the blocks, you're welcome to try that now. If you feel like you're steady, you could also have a wall next to you or the block underneath of you to reach for in case you do feel unsteady. So I will show that modification. If you want to go ahead and do it the way you did it with the blocks, please do that. So from here, stand on your left foot, Bring that right leg out and back, and you're like a seesaw. You're kind of tipping your body forward until you're in this nice, somewhat level shape. Try to keep the hips square. It's hard to do. And again, you have the blocks there. Keeping a nice micro bend in that left leg so you don't lock your knee. You can bring your arms out to your side. Keep them at your chest or on the blocks. Let's try the other side. Again, if you want to stick with the blocks, stick with the blocks. If you want to try without blocks, we'll come into it without the blocks on this one. Remember to breathe. Breathing will help your balance immensely. And I know that's a hard thing to remember while you're trying to balance, but try to remember to do that. So slight micro bend in that right leg. And now tilt yourself forward. Your hands on your chest. Bringing that left leg up and back. You can bring your arms out to your sides, trying your best to keep your hips squared to the ground and remembering to breathe. Your blocks are there if you need them. If you're already using them, stay with it. Inhale and exhales and lower down. All right, that's a very challenging pose. So congrats for trying it on the blocks. Awesome. All right, from here we're going to come down in onto our bellies, and we're going to come into Sphinx. So just elbows underneath of your shoulders, hands outstretched in front of you, pulling that chest through, coming out of your hips, bringing the neck, your chin up, and breathing here for a couple of neat breaths. Just kind of releasing. We've done a lot of core work today, not our typical ab workout that we're used to, like crunches, but when you warrior 3 and all of those different poses that you're doing, balancing table, I do believe we did earlier. Yes, those are all great for your core area. So really let that all kind of go in here in a couple of nice deep breaths. And from here, take your right elbow or your forearm in front of you, and then bend your right leg up, and you can stay here, or if you're able, reach back with your right hand and bring that leg in any amount. This is a nice quad stretch. So if you're able to do that, you can keep it straight up. Breathe here a couple of nice deep breaths in and out. Smile, it helps. Release that, and now take your right forearm in front of you, left knee bent, reach back, grab hold of that foot if you can. If not, keep it up here, that's fine. You can, any amount is fine. If you're able to reach the foot, bring it in for a nice quad stretch. A couple nice deep breaths in and out. And release that, let that go. We're gonna switch over to our backs. And we're gonna do our, what I call windshield wipers. So take your soles of your feet as wide as your mat, knees up toward the sky, and you're just gonna simply drop both of your knees over to the right, like a windshield wiper. Bring them back up and over now to the left. So we're just gonna do that a couple of times. It's a nice release for the low back. Back over to the right, breathing while you're doing this. To the left, inhale to center, exhale to the right, inhale to center, exhale to the left, inhale to the center, and now go to the right and just leave your legs there for a moment. Just let them hang in space. Really feel that nice release of the low back. Nice deep breath in and exhale it out. Inhale, come back to center, and now bring them over to the left. Just drop them, let them kind of hang in space. Feel that nice opening in your lower back. Nice deep inhale and exhale. Inhale, bring your legs back up to center. And from here, You know what time it is. It's time for our final relaxation pose, Shavasana. Again, don't skip this pose. Always try to make time for this, whether it's 30 seconds or 5 minutes. Eye covering if you have it, if you need it. Stretch your legs out on the mat in front of you, arms out to your sides, and come into your version of Shavasana that works for you, that is comfortable. If you need to have your knees bent, bend your knees. If you need a towel or a blanket underneath of your hips, go for it. Do what makes you feel comfortable and just really rest into this pose. I'm going to come up and lead you through it. But please stay in that pose while I lead you through it. I'm going to keep an eye on the time. And we're going to stay here for a couple of minutes today because we actually have the time to do so. So just stay there. Notice your breath. Take some nice deep in breaths, out breaths. Just let your body, just let it go onto the mat. Just completely let it go and feel the effects of your practice. Today, we all attempted and did our version of Warrior 3, and that's a tough balancing pose. But you will find with yoga, you're gonna find yourself challenging yourself and wanting to try things. So as you're laying here in this pose, just think about that. You tried something new for you today. Thank yourself for that. I'm going to give you a nice minute and a half here of nice quiet time. Just notice your breath and relax into this pose and let the practice integrate itself into your body while you're here. I'll let you know when the time is up. Now slowly, I'd like you to deepen your inhales and your exhales. Stretch your feet and your arms out long on the mat. Really get a nice stretch. Feel like you've grown an inch or so. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Bring your knees into your chest. Hold that for a moment. Breathing nice and deeply. Make a pillow with your arm. Stay here for a moment. And now, using your arms, bring yourself back up to seated. Come back up to a nice seated cross-legged position. Fold your hands together in front of your heart. This is just a sign of gratitude to yourself, to your teachers, to everyone that has made a difference in your life. Gratitude for coming to your practice. Thank yourself for coming to your practice and making it to the mat today. And we're going to end with Namaste, as I do all my other classes. And that's just a sign of gratitude and thanks to you for practicing with me. So thanks again for practicing. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And I'll see you soon. Namaste.